Hey everyone, Dalton Grados with Grados Capital here, and wanted to just put this quick video out here to discuss specifically one of the most powerful market internals that I really rely on, probably more so than all the other market internals I look at when it comes to trading the ES futures, and that is the NYSE tick here. So I'm going to talk about it, what it is, and kind of how I use it. Now, I pretty much use this in conjunction with the shadow trader method. So if you're familiar with Shadow Trader, Pete Reznicek and the whole team over there, I listen to their Squawk Box all day. We look at market internals. I have another video actually on my channel about market internals, the volume breadth, the advancers, decliners, but didn't really pay attention as much to the tick as I have been more recently, and this is now what I rely on the most. Um, so you just have this ticker, $ tick, right? And it's the New York Stock Exchange. We call it the NYSE tick, which you have basically all in real time the amount of stocks on the entire exchange that are ticking up versus ticking down. So you see we're about to end the day, about to end the week here. It's 3:41 p.m. on Friday. Kind of neutral, right? So we have 135 or now 77 more stocks ticking down than up. And this changes throughout the day. But if you don't know how to read this, it can kind of be a little bit confusing because it just looks like it's choppy the whole time, right? It just looks like it's sideways. But how we can use this and how I use this is really to determine strength in the market. So for example, just look at this morning. We had this big down move. This was actually pre-market on the non-farm payrolls move. We had a negative 1560 hit, right? So usually, with myself and Shadow Trader, we look at hits that are at 1,000 or above, either way, as significant, right? So if you get to the negative 1,000 or positive 1,000, that's showing a lot of strength in that move. We had our up move here, and then when we had our down move again earlier today, this is my ES chart over here, we did get to negative 1,000, but we didn't get lower than we were this morning. So it was still a weaker down move, which is why we never got through this support around the 4110 area, because in comparison to our morning down move, you had less, you didn't make a new low in the tick, right? So these are things I'm paying attention to. So this low was much weaker, right? And you had a lot less stocks ticking down than you had prior. Same thing on up moves. We can use it to determine, is this really strong, or is it weak? Is it making a higher high in the ticks, or is it making a lower high? So sometimes you can make a new high in the stock, in the index, but the tick, might not be making a new high as it did previous in the day. That could show that high might be weaker. So this is a very powerful confirmation tool. Another thing I pay attention to a lot is the zero line. So I literally drew a red line right here at the zero line. So that's basically the middle ground, right, of neutral, right? And so if we're failing to hold above the zero line or failing to hold below the zero line, that can also be a big indicator. And if you watched my last video where I did a live stream of my live trading session, you will see me talking about using the tick. But I'll show you just a couple more examples. So this was yesterday was a pretty choppy day, and you had a pretty choppy tick, right? You couldn't really hold above the zero line that much. You have a lot of wicks here, and you didn't really have any big significant moves below the zero line as much. Just a choppy day. Let's look on the ES up here at the day before that. We actually had a pretty positive day. So trending day up, and in the tick here, let's make sure I'm on the right day. Oh, that's today. That's yesterday. This is the day before, Wednesday. On the tick, we had a strong opening drive with a high of 1234 on the tick, so that's a very, very strong uptick. And then look at the zero line here. We could never really hold below the zero line. Of course, we did come below the zero line, but what I'm looking at on the tick is, are we able to close and really hold below the zero line? And we weren't. And that's why it was such a positive day. Remember, this is all of the stocks in the New York Stock Exchange. So you're going to get ups and downs all day, but look at how much more time we're spending above the zero line and, hitting these highs around 860, 880, and then not really making any moves that are significant below the zero line. And then we look at our chart. Of course, it was a trending up day. So anyway, I didn't want to make this video long, but just wanted to describe this indicator, not indicator, but market internal rather. It's very powerful. I'm looking at it constantly all day. The NYSE tick, in addition to the volume breadth and advancers decliners that are other market internals. So that is the NYSE tick.